Happy Thursday. I guess we're still doing this, huh? How's everyone doing? It's episode 185. I had a scary thought, which is if we want to be done with this by about episode 1000, which is in about 4 years, we need to get going. We need to be about a fifth of the way done already, and I don't know if we're there. So we'll see. What we did yesterday was we came up with a new cutaway model for how we cut away walls and ceilings and stuff. There's definitely a bunch of crucial problems with it, but I think it's already like a great improvement over the initial system. So we can like compare them a little bit right here. Hey, Rhiannon Journey. Happy Thursday. How's it going? All right, so this is the old model, how the cutaway system worked. It's kind of just based on the raw cursor coordinates. And the fill system's fast at this scale. And it's like multi-level, right? Yeah, the fill system's really fast now that we've made some changes to it. But yeah, there's a lot of problems with this, I would say. It's kind of cool, but I would say there's a lot of problems with it. So what we did is we switched to a compartment-based system. And what we need to do today is we kind of need to improve that logic, the compartment logic. Rhiannon Journey, it's going pretty good. Boring day at work, which is nice. Isn't that nice when there's just like nothing going on at work? I would love one of those days soon. So if we have this single room, it just cuts away like that. But as soon as we add another room, now it's this compartment-based logic. And this is definitely a lot slicker. It's also a lot smarter in that it knows what rooms are in front of another room. There's definitely some edge cases because I noticed this test case that I'm doing is kind of like a best case scenario. If we test like something more realistic, maybe, which is like the rooms aren't totally uniform. Like if we have it like this, like if we have this kind of weird shape here. So if this is a room and this is a room, it's a little strange. And so if we put like this, make this a room. Yeah, it's a little weird. Like what's going on here, right? It's actually ignoring this inner wall because we're operating just on an AABB. So that's an issue for sure. So we need to be able to handle irregularly shaped rooms. There's another case which is a problem. Just like, what if this room is like bigger than the room in front of it? So what if, yeah, so like this room isn't even behaving correctly. And this room is behaving also very weirdly. There was another case that I'm trying to get to render to show up correctly here. I'm having a hard time with it. Like, now this room isn't even rendering at all. It's very strange. Oh, it's not even considered outside. Or is it just taking a while? No, this is not considered in a room anymore. Huh. Yeah, there's some stuff. There's some weird stuff going on. For sure. Yeah, why is this considered outside all of a sudden? Maybe the flood fill system is freaking out. You really like this version of the cutaway? I do too. It's going to be very finicky for a while, but I think its potential is much higher than the other system. There's definitely a lot of stuff that needs to happen to fix it though, or to improve it. All right, so what we want to do is there's also multi-level issues still, aren't there? Oh yeah, I didn't even look at that. But yeah, from yesterday I remember there are multi-level issues. I think this whole using an AABB is inadequate. I think we can't just use an axis aligned bounding box. I think we have to be a little more, I think we have to understand the relationship between the compartments a little bit better. Because right now it's just really simple. It's like we look at the compartment that we're in, or that the mouse cursor is in. And then all we do is we like eliminate coordinates that are like within a certain measurements of that axis aligned bounding box. And that's not exactly what we want. The question is, what do we want to replace that with? So yeah, let's double check what the multi-level issue is, because yeah, there definitely is some multi-level issues. So let's make 2 floors worth of stuff. So like this simple case works, but as soon as you get more complicated, there are some problems. Maybe the real problem is this in between, the way we treat the walls. The walls aren't treated as being part of a compartment, and I think we need to change that for sure. This is kind of okay the way this is working here. So yeah, the first thing I'd like to do, because it's causing weird issues, is handle the what do we do with the walls around each compartment? Like, how do we treat those? Because that's going to inform our solution a lot. Yeah, like this is just a disaster. I'm not sure why that causes exactly that to happen. The problem is, it would be nice if these walls kind of knew every compartment they were next to. Like, it'd be cool if there was a way to just record in the block that this block is a barrier between this compartment and this compartment. or like that it touches both compartments. That would be cool. We'd need to do like a field for that, like a bit field or something. So I have this separate storage, this data thing we're storing, which is like the compartment overall. Maybe we can do this block based instead. I think we're getting very close to having some kind of tree where we sort we sort compartments based on like which ones are in front of the other compartments. And then so if you're trying to look into one compartment, it just cuts away every compartment in front of that compartment. And that sounds suspiciously like a tree structure, which I am admittedly not the best at. So I might need to think about that before we implement a solution like that. But yeah, we might end up doing a tree. And then maintaining that tree would be pretty easy because we just have to create it during during edit time. It would be nice if we could just store most of the data on the block. But there's also a limit to what we can do with that. So if I wanted to store this information like in a component on the block, it would probably just be like a bit field thing, and it would be like compartment. We could sort the compartments based on their axis-aligned bounding box. That would work, even for weird irregular shaped. So we could do a mixed kind of process here. One thing that I don't totally want to do, but which would help, would be to not treating the partition as an int, but as a bit field. That's a little awkward. Just because it's not like an enum or anything. It's not like predefined. It's not like the block forms. It would just be... Yeah, I have to think about how I would want to do that as well. Because like right now, we have one of these. It's like predefined. It's like an enum. That's what we can use. And we can give it the flags attribute. That's not what we're talking about. We're just talking about using making our own bit field that's not filled with preformed forms, but instead we're just recording the data like that. Song sounds like it should go with the silent comedy. Yeah, this one's pretty cute. Feels like it could be in like Untitled Goose Game or something. So we could do something temporarily just to see if we like the effect. It's not... No. There's a thing we need to do with sorting these. We might need to work on something else while I think a little bit more deeply on how we want to change this. which is fine because we still need to execute our separation of the two layers, the preview blocks from the settled blocks. We have like the structure to be able to do that, but we haven't actually started doing it yet because to execute that, we would need to merge them back together again for the systems that need to be operating on a single collection here. And I've been thinking about whether we want to do that in its own buffer, or if we want to do that as like an, yeah, if we want to do that as like an intermediate step on a given system, or if we want a system that just sets up that information. We probably want it on each system. Because again, I think the logic when you're merging them back together will depend on the use case. So yeah, let's potentially break everything and start working on that. Because that's a prerequisite. Whatever I want to do with the cutaway system is kind of predicated on having this separation between the two. I've changed my mind about this. So yeah, let's work on that. Because that I've thought about, and I think I have more of an idea of how we're going to do that. So we're going to split things between the preview blocks and the settled blocks. So what we need to start doing is changing what systems work on what. I think we've already written the settle. Yeah, we want the tile system to work separate. I actually don't know if the tile system can work separately. I've written it so that it can, so we'll see if it does. Oh, this song is pretty silly. All right, so we're going to start splitting this up. We're going to start swapping over to the settled blocks for certain functions. So this is going to break everything for an amount of time. So let's be prepared for that. So where do we want to insert settled blocks in place of preview blocks here? So right now we're just doing everything. So deselect blocks, that should be settled blocks. Clipboard, copy to clipboard, that should also be settled blocks. Place blocks in. Oh yeah, I ran into a problem with this, didn't I? And it forced me to roll everything back. Well, we're going to run into that problem again, and we'll try to get through it. So when we place blocks in a region, we're placing them into the preview blocks. We do need a process for converting the preview blocks over to settled blocks in certain steps. So cut will be the same. This will be settled. This will be settled. Cut, so this will also be settled. Hey, Anonymo. How's it going? Oh yeah, we have to decide how we're going to do the eraser, because the eraser is not... We're going to have to ignore the eraser function for a minute. We're going to have to disable the eraser for a little bit. Because I'm actually not sure how the eraser is going to work with this system. I do know how the eraser system is going to work, but we need to change some things before it'll function. It's good? That's good. I really don't care about this game input projection and out of bounds thing, do I? Kind of want to stop doing this for a bit. No, I don't think I use this. I'm actually going to go check to see if I use this. Out of bounds, 3 usages. All in the tool system. 152, 159, 207. I think these are all assignments. So if I just get rid of those for now. $159 and 207. Yeah, I don't think anybody reads this. How am I? I'm good. I'm good, Anonymous. We're jumping into pretty big change here. It's gonna break everything for a bit. I need to make it so block eraser mode can't be changed. Okay, I've done that. Yeah, we need to disable block eraser mode for now. Hey, Diginanigans. Yeah, Snob. As someone, what's up? As someone who got randomly recommended the stream, you're curious what the title means. You have no idea who I am or how to code. Well, thanks, YouTube. I'm Dave, aka Digital Iliad. We're working on a version of FTL Faster Than Light. We're kind of doing an isometric 3D thing. So if you're not familiar with FTL Faster Than Light, it's very like a seminal like roguelike game. Piloting little ships. You're like the captain of a ship, so you've got little crew members. You're moving the crew members around to different systems. You're powering up systems. You're managing subsystems and like targeting things. It's a little Star Trek ship simulator kind of deal. And this original version is this top-down 2D thing. So we're trying to make like a layered 3D version of it. And we've been working on tools which would help us build out ships, because these are all hand-drawn 2D ships. And that's not how I'm going to be able to do this. So we're working on a system that will let us assemble 3D ships out of modular blocks. But yeah, this game is great. Very inspiring to me. Yeah, so we're hanging out. We hang out a few hours a day. Tuesday through Saturday, work on this game. It's kind of supposed to be like a chill co-working space. So, welcome in. Glad YouTube recommended it to you. I don't have any better idea why they did that than you do, but, you know, here we are. Okay, I think this all is right here. Palette, wheel blocks and preview block. Place block at preview block. Deselect blocks. That should be settled blocks. Oh, settled blocks AABB. Oh, did I not? I might not have changed that up here. Deselect blocks. Game.input.selection. Okay. All right, place. Chords, preview blocks.aabb.view absolute. All right, so when we're placing blocks, we place them into the preview. This is all correct. What we're going to need to do, though, is at the end step, we're going to need a way of converting preview blocks into settled blocks at this end step. Which is good, because right now we're not doing anything with the end step. And select is going to work on settled blocks instead of preview blocks. Select reveal blocks in preview blocks.aabb preview blocks. Right, that's correct. Deselect blocks, settled blocks. Select blocks, settled blocks. bounds.overlaps, settle blocks.aabb, settle blocks.clamp. So, select only active blocks, deselect inactive blocks. And then on the end step, we already do something for that, so that should be fine. This looks really interesting. Best of luck. Thank you so much. You have a great day. All right, so that's that. The issue I think we're going to run into, besides the fact that we can't erase, is that we have no process for merging these. So let's just see what's happened. If we run into an error, that would be interesting. So this should be doable. Select shouldn't work. It doesn't. All of this works because there is no end step where we convert things over. We can't erase, which we know that's true. Weird how that worked there. Interesting. We need to make an adjustment to the cutaway system. It essentially needs to cut away everything above where we are working, at least when we're in the edit mode. So whatever layer we're working on, it needs to cut away everything above that. That's just the only way that the editing system is going to work correctly. So we can add a carve out here. We can say, go down to the cutaway thing. What we can say is, if key.z is greater, whatever. If key.z is less than, we've got this. Yeah, we really just need to erase everything above whatever selection we're in. So we have this. If key.z is less than, let's just say we could do this. We could say if key.z is greater than or equal to, where's the cursor coords? We just call that coords. It's greater than or equal to coords.z. Then we can, actually we want to say less than. We just continue. Or no, we want to skip all of this, and if it's greater than or equal, if it's greater than or equal to coords.z, then we will allow this scrutinization to occur. Otherwise, we're just going to add it to the cutaway. That's, as far as I know, the only way we're going to be able to handle this right now. For the editor, we should probably say if in edit mode. We could say if we could say if game.geekState is not equal to game.state.edit, or so if we're not editing, we continue into this process. So if we are editing and key.z is less than coords.c, we just cut away with extreme prejudice. Okay. All right, let's see that. So if I go down now, bam, yeah, that whole thing goes down. They're down with me here. Oh, that rendering is wrong. The auto tiler is behaving incorrectly here. That's a weird case. I need to figure out why it's doing that. It's nice that there's not a delay anymore with the tile typing, or the tile, the hull type color change. It used to be there was a delay as I like made a room versus when it would be recognized as a room. This edge case is a problem. It's weird that it's being treated as part of the room here. Very strange. Even when I destroy the room, it's being treated as part of the room. Oh, even if I'm... Oh, that's wrong. All right, that's weird. That's not how that should work. All right, it's like really warm in here. I'm gonna open a window. Hopefully the noise isn't too bad. I've been told that the noise canceling on this microphone is like really good, so it should be fine. Shenanigans, you know, I'm still working on a few bugs with it, but you think in general the new cutaway system seems a lot more user-friendly and intuitive. Yeah, I think so. I agree, Shenanigans. The thing is, there's just going to be we need to define the rules about how it works very rigorously and carefully. But yeah, I think it's going to work a lot better. I think the potential of that system is good, which I'm glad. I wanted to figure that out. I feel like that is, as far as what I've run into so far, that visibility issue of trying to represent 3D layers like this in a way that's navigable and like intuitive, that's definitely so far the big challenge of the game. And I think we're now, I think this is coming a long way towards resolving that major challenge. I still do to some extent, but I am concerned that's like a cursed challenge, a cursed problem or whatever in game dev is kind of problem. But maybe it's not technically cursed because it's not like violating the promise of the game or whatever. It's not indirect. The issue we're running into is not directly contradicts the promise that the game makes. So yeah, it's probably manageable. You don't hear anything, Rand and Journey? Great. That's great. Because yeah, this breeze is really nice. All right, so let's put a pin in this and tweaking the cutaway system a little more. What we need to do is we need to add this end step for placing tiles, which is here. We need to add a step where we, at the end here, we need to add a thing where basically the preview blocks buffer gets merged with the settle blocks buffer. I'm not sure. I'm just going to call it, I'm going to make a function here, and it's just going to be called settle preview blocks. I'll alphabetize these later. I'm just going to add it to the bottom. I need like an implicit conversion. I need a way of well, maybe I don't care. I realize that if I pull a read-write version of a buffer during a frame, it really doesn't matter if at some point I switch to only reading from it, as long as that happens on the same frame. It really doesn't matter. Rhiannon Journey, the tile editor, has come a long way in usability with the new cutaway and getting rid of the per layer outlines. Yeah, thanks, Rhiannon. I think so. I think it's a little silly that I've spent so long on this, but I want the system to be good enough. I want this editor to be good enough that when we're done working on it, we're done working on it, like at least for a while. We'll say previewed blocks, we'll say settled blocks. So this will be our merge step. Because yeah, if we look at our roadmap, which I should do more often, and in fact, I have a next step for this for working on this roadmap that I want to spend some time on. So we've got like our alpha MVP launch, which is what we're working on. It's gonna be free. It's gonna be on itch.io. We'll put it up as a Steam demo. This is all we've done so far. All we've been working on is this tile block editor. And when the tile block editor is done, we can finally move to the shipboard simulation. This is going to be like, okay, you're done editing and you switch to the play state. Now we've got like characters running around the ships. We've got like power being moved through different systems, maybe overloading like conduits and stuff like that. We've got like oxygen. We've got like an atmosphere simulation of like what happens if you open an airlock. The oxygen all gets like sucked out. Like life support, like how do we add the oxygen back in? Like all of the simulation, which is like really the meat and potatoes of the actual game itself, is going to go here. And this is going to be a huge task, right? So we really need to move from the tile block editor to the shipboard simulation. Hey, Aaron TTT. Hey, Aaron TTV. I almost added like 3 or 4 T's to that. Hey, Aaron TTTTV. How's it going? And then once we're done with this chunk, which is like the how does an individual ship get made and work, then we can move to the scenario editor, which is like, what does an encounter look like? What does it look like when 2 ships are next to each other and like you can target one ship from the other ship and like interact? You're okay? You're chilling, taking a break from game deving? Nice, nice. What kind of stuff do you work on? All right, so now we need to do the merging. So we merge all the blocks. So what we're going to do... So, well, how are we going to do this? I think we just do something really simple. We say something like, We need to just iterate the span. We need to know, so we need to know the index. So we need to say for, yeah, something like this. It'd be cool if we could reduce the AABB to only what's actually being used. Like to reduce the bounds to like what's actually being used. But right now we're just going to copy over the whole thing. I wonder if that's an, well, we can't just copy it. We have to like merge, right? We're merging. So we say something like settled. Well, we can say something like integer index equals preview blocks dot get. Do we need to get the index for each one separately? Oh no, we're not. We don't need to. We need to guarantee that the preview blocks perfectly overlap the settled blocks, and I don't think we can guarantee that. You're working on your first game, in short. It's a 2.5D 8-bit Game Boy voxel RPG. You're doing it solo. Dang. That's pretty intense. That sounds really cool though. I like the idea of an 8-bit 2.5D game. Voxels. Okay, we're doing some 3D kind of stuff too. We're doing isometric 3D or isometric 2D. I honestly don't know whether to call it isometric 2D or 3D. It's isometric. It's technically 2D, but we're simulating this 3D world. Yeah. It's like a starship simulation game. So there's like stacked. It's like there's like decks, like bridge and like I don't know, weapon systems and like maybe like reactor and like cargo bay. You can show me what it looks like if I want to see. Yeah. We have a Discord. We have a share your work channel. If you want to hop in there, post it. I would love to see it. I'd love to keep up with it. Are you doing it in Godot? Or something else? You're out of Discord space, group space. You know, I understand that's a problem. It's like what you can join like 100 servers, unless you're like Nitro, and then you can join 200 servers. No worries, no worries. If you got an itch page or something, you can send me the itch page. You could just link it. You're doing it in an engine called RPG in a Box. Oh, I've never heard of this. Let's check this out. RPG in a Box. Yo, dog. I heard you like games. So we put a game in your game. Oh, this looks fun. RPG in a Box. Let's look at this. There's multiplayer, procedural maps, Steam Workshop. Oh my god. Skeletal animation, weather system, low poly modeling, Android web export, deck building, VR, blah, 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 blah. There's an image editor. Oh, exporting projects to Godot 4. Look at that. Look at that. Cool. Cool. It's got a little block editor, a voxel editor tool. Slick. It's like pathfinding. Oh, it's got visual scripting, dialogue editor. This looks fun. This looks like a great introduction to game dev kind of tool. Oh, you got some camera choices. So it's 3D. It's a 3D engine. And it's got like a block bench style, like little editor tool. It's like a voxel editor thing. Oh, you can import from Magica Voxel. Oh, that's pretty slick. Pretty slick. Cool. That's a cool tool. Yeah. Think of RPG Maker with the back end of Godot. Oh, cool. Yeah, so they must be making that in Godot, huh? There's another like RPG Maker tool or something like that that I thought was made in Godot. They might have spun it off later on or something. It's really cool. Well, yeah, please keep us updated. If you want to see the itch page, look up Kingdom of Alon, the New Age. Yeah, I want to see your itch page. Kingdom of Alon, the New Age. Demo by Baron. Is this you? This looks slick. The color choice is burning my eyes, but I get it. It's like a retro Game Boy aesthetic. Oh, this looks cool. I love the little pop-up little character art style. Like they're 2D sprites that they're like, and you've set them up as little pop-up little characters, like pop-up book characters. Shenanigans looks pretty cool. You might check it out yourself. Plays nicely with being able to extend with Godot. You might be a good way to prototype something and then enhance later. Oh yeah, the RPG in a box thing. That's not a bad idea. This is fun. I like your little castle setting. Nice, you got it for Windows, Linux. Cool, cool, cool. I like the little pixel font. Yeah, this is nice. Good luck with this. Oh, you know, it's my fault. Alon, this is my fault. I have a dark mode. I have a dark mode reader. Let's look at it correctly. Let me see. Alon, Kingdom of Alon. That's my bad. It should look like this. You didn't do anything wrong. No. I forget that I have my dark mode viewer thing on, and then someone will be like, why is everything just ruined? I'm like, yeah, it's my fault. It would be cooler if, you know, Chrome had a better built-in dark mode viewer, but they don't, so I have to use Dark Reader. It does stuff like this. Although this pops pretty well, I will say. The white text. I've been working on map states for it today. Nice. Journey. Rhiannon Journey, you're like, this is cool, but it would be fun if you could add a CRT shader. That's not a terrible idea. Cool. So what we're doing right now is we are transferring the preview blocks over to the settled buffer. And the way we're going to do that is we can just call the merge block tool or the merge block function. You can pass in the settled block and then the incoming block. So we would just say for each of these, you know, honestly, we could probably make a version of the merge block tool. I guess this is the version of the merge block function. The thing that I'm thinking about is right now I could just get one index and these match up perfectly. So the one index, so the same index will map up perfectly. But if I limit the preview blocks thing to be like smaller than the settled blocks, it won't match up perfectly. I actually don't know. Forget it. Forget I said anything. So let's just say merge block. We'll say settled blocks. We'll say settled blocks dot span I, obviously. Yeah, I would like to change the preview blocks to be read-only, buffer 3D read-only. But I would need like an implicit conversion between the two, which I could do. I could include an implicit conversion. Let me see if that's worth trying to write. So this is like literally all this function needs to be. for the moment. Definitely going to follow on itch. Oh yeah, that's a great idea. Aaron, since the engine been made by one guy, it's hard to get suggestions in like that when there are like 0 people making stuff for it. Oh yeah, I'm sure. Took 2 years to get ranged combat working, 2.5 for 2.5D characters correctly. Oof. I feel that. That's why it's always kind of scary to use an engine, especially if it's like a very, or use a plugin or whatever. It's always scary to use an asset like that if you're not sure about the support level or your ability to like change how it works. That's why definitely picking the tool that you use to make the game is like crucial, right? Because it forms the limits of what you can do, right? That's why so many people end up making their own engine. All right, so I was gonna add an implicit conversion between buffer 3D read write and buffer 3D read only. That's what I was going to do. Maybe I should just have a buffer or buffer 3D, and then I have a read write or read only variant. So you get the buffer using the component, and then you can specify whether you want the read only or the read write version. It could be fine. Or maybe by default it's read write and you can specify that you want the read only version. I don't know if I love that. So if I wanted to have an implicit, thanks to whoever followed you on Twitch, it was Rhiannon Journey. Thank you, Rhiannon Journey. So if I have an implicit conversion, I don't know where I put that, maybe here. Public, static, implicit, operator. It would be the buffer 3D read only T. So we would say, return new buffer 3D read only. We would, we need a version of the constructor. We need a version of the constructor that, I always get confused about the ordering of stuff in here. Public. Well, I need to open up the other one. I need to open up the buffer 3D read only. We need to add in a constructor here. Public buffer 3D read only. T. It would need to be, we would need to say buffer ID, AABB, AABB, and we would say if I have this in here as part of the primary constructor, do I need to specify it anywhere else? Okay, yeah, maybe we need to set these up as primary constructors. Or without the primary constructor, maybe we need to set them up as 2 explicit constructors. So we do this. Do this. We don't need the T. Oh no, we need the T. How do we know? How do we know this? How do we know this part? I guess we need it like this, where T is unmanaged. Is this not something I can do? Oh, wait. We already... Never mind. Seems like I don't need to do that. Let's see if this implicit conversion works then. So we'd say return new buffer 3D read only T, and we would say buffer 3D read write dot buffer ID and dot AABB. Okay. Cool. Yeah, this should work. We got ads starting soon. All right, cool. So now we can I'm still not convinced that I don't want like a buffer 3D, and then you'd go like buffer.3D dot read write, and you specify which buffer, which version you want. But for right now, we can do it this way. I don't see a problem doing it this way. I wonder if we can turn this back into the primary constructor and the other constructor just works. No. So now it doesn't want a primary constructor. So we're just going to copy this over here. I'm going to look at a file and try to remember what order these things go in. I need to split up my, in the file structure, I need to split up the entity component system itself for the things, for like my implementation of the entity component system, if that makes sense. Like the entity component system structure needs to be stored in one place, and then like as I'm enumerating components, the components should be stored somewhere else. So I really need to spin off my ECS implementation like as a plugin. So, okay, so I don't know where these are supposed to go. I don't know if the implicit operator, it probably should go below the constructor, right? I have a parameterless constructor up here. Okay, cool. So now you can just easily switch. You can just easily switch buffer types. I don't know why you would want to, except to just guarantee maybe like read-write safety. It's not going to help in the case of like a change system, like a system that measures like, oh no, we accessed the read-write buffer, mark this buffer as dirty. Like if you access the read-write buffer and then swap to the read-only buffer, it's like that doesn't affect the... If you do all of that within one frame, that doesn't, you know, you still incremented some change version on the buffer or whatever. Assuming we implement something like that, which I feel like we will. So now we need... So who implements what? We should probably implement this just on each You should probably actually implement the other version of this. We should probably have the conversion from read-write to read-only on the read-only. I'll double check the C# style guide with where this stuff should go. I get tripped up by the order of things in a file. I want to do the right file structure. Honestly, it doesn't matter, but I like to do it. I like to do it right. So we're going to flip these then. Okay, now we should just easily be able to convert between the two. I wonder if this constructor should be private. All right, so whatever. So now we can do this. So we can specify the preview blocks thing as read-only. Oh, but it's actually... I don't know why I bothered to do this, because we actually are going to clear the preview blocks, aren't we? So, well, I'm glad I did that, but this is not the correct use case for that. That's funny. Because we're going to merge everything, and then at the end here, we're still going to say reveal blocks in, and we're going to say preview blocks dot AABB preview blocks. We could actually simplify this and just pass the buffer in, and then if we pass in the buffer, it'll just use the bounding box of the buffer instead of having to do this separate. That's a side effect, I think, of having to pass in the spans separately previously. So yeah, we add the preview blocks, we merge the preview blocks with the settled blocks, and then we clear the preview blocks. So that's what this function does, right? It just clears all of it. For each coordinates in bounds, not hidden blocks. Try. Can't continue. Otherwise, yeah, cool. But yeah, we could have a version of this that doesn't need the bounds passed in. Okay, well, I wrote an implicit converter that I'm now not using, but okay, cool. All right, so now if we just add settle preview blocks here to this step, will that just work? I don't know. Probably won't. Question is, where won't it work? So settle preview blocks, we send in the preview blocks, and we pass in the settle blocks. And we're going to run this, and it will immediately crash. Calling it. Calling it now. All right, so here we're previewing. And then if I do this, we're still previewing. And then if I do this, we're settled. Ahaha. Crash. All right, that's what I wanted to see. Specified argument was out of the range of valid values. Parameter coords. Coords. 28, 31, -1. Where did this happen? Oh, this was the exterior flood fill. Oh yeah, we know. There's a problem with the exterior flood fill in and out of bounds access. We are aware. It's not what I wanted to test. Let's go down one layer just so that doesn't happen. Okay, what is the deal with the auto tiler when I'm doing this? Oh, it's because of the cutaway system. Cutaway is being weird. Okay, so here's the thing. So we do this, As far as I know, we might even be committing this to the settled blocks thing. But yeah, this thing that's happening too on the mouse cursor, this is also a cutaway problem. It's like cutting itself away as we move the cursor around. It's like, oh, this block is in the cutaway zone. Let me hide this block. And it's like, no. I need to change the logic for how it works when we're working in an empty space like this. Okay, so now the problem is in... I say the problem we want to tackle first of the many problems that we have. Of the countless problems that we're working on. So what we need to do, go here. So what we're doing, I think I know where the problem is. Let's look at generate tile cell data. So generate tile cell data is going to be run once. For all of this. Question is, so the thing that's not happening here when we do this derivation thing is we're not actually, like, if we let's say derive deck layer, right? Like, we're picking our hull types, we're looking at our hull types, we're only looking at one buffer. We can only really take one buffer for this, and that makes sense. So what we need to do is we need to actually merge these buffers. We need to be able to render the settle blocks and the preview blocks before they've been merged, right? So that means we need to create this merged buffer when we run here. And the best way to probably do that probably just want to take a block, make a blocks thing here. Oh, how do I want to do that? What we should probably do is we should probably make a buffer. We could either make a buffer tied to an entity that belongs to this system, or we could just make an array. There isn't really anything we lose from making the array, except maybe some of the built-in functions that we get from the buffer. The fill system is not going to work either without a merge, huh? All right, how do I want to merge these? So we have two buffers coming in, the settle blocks and the preview blocks. I had this set up like we could run this here for both. And then I thought we could combine them, but I realize now that that doesn't make any sense. Because these functions aren't meant to be run like over and over again. Like, they're really built to run on a single buffer. So I could refactor that and try to rewrite these functions so that they're like they work additively. Where like you could figure out these hull types and stuff. And then if you ran it again, it would try to add on. So what would that in practice mean? In practice, that would mean like when you're doing this assignment and you're checking what this block has, you would need to also consider the value currently in the dictionary at this index, at this key. I would need a logic for how these overwrite each other. So like a middle hull probably overwrites the outer and inner. An inner would probably overwrite an outer. What if I try get the value out of here and there is no value? Then what do I say? Hull dot like undefined or something like that? There is no hull dot undefined, unfortunately. Like we use the 0. We could change that. I feel like at the moment, I actually use the numerical value of the enumerator of the enum somewhere. Is that better? What's better? What's the better thing to change? Is it better to just merge the buffers? Or is it better to... Is it better to merge the buffers, or is it better to just try to make it so that I can run on an arbitrary number of buffers and there's just a process for overwriting that information? That might not work. So, something like the door layer is going to make that really complicated because the door layer does like a ton of logic. The door layer does so much logic about what's nearby. I feel like trying to make that logic additive. Look at all this. Look at all this nonsense. Yeah, I don't want to do that. It's probably easier to just merge the two buffers and operate on it once. So let's do that. We're going to say... So we'll say... So let's say this. And then we'll add this if. So we'll say if all of this stuff well, I need to define the preview blocks because they use it down here as well. I guess it's fine to get it. It's better to get it all the time, or it would be better to not get it all the time and then occasionally get it twice? I think for now we'll get it all the time. Let's just forget the peak state thing. Let's just for now presume that we're in edit mode. So the merged buffer is going to be this new thing. So let's make that. Let's create that. For now, we're just going to create it here. So we also want to make a merge block buffer. We'll say merging. Hey, Jacob, what am I up to? I am working on separating, like, what you would call, like, what I call the preview, which is like if you've got your tile editor brush and you're like mousing around and you're like looking at what like something would look like if you do place it. That's like a preview. Right now, that's written into the same buffer as the stuff that's actually been placed. So like if you're looking at what a tile would look like if you place it, right now the system is basically placing it temporarily and then removing it as you like move the cursor around, and it's doing that all the time. I'm trying to split those two buffers. So there's like a preview buffer and like a settled buffer. And then the problem is I have to sometimes merge them back together because that's what other systems expect. So I'm working on that. All of this is in service of a new cutaway system that we have to like peel layers away as you're like looking into the area. Bunch of stuff that I've kind of put off for too long. How are you doing? What have you been up to? All right, for right now, I'm gonna define this as another world object. I really want to change the way I'm doing this. I really want these to be owned by systems. So like the preview blocks, the settled blocks. I could even have an editor object rather than having this be owned by the world. I could have this be owned by the editor. I basically want to like I want to more closely limit the scope of these objects. Right now it's stupid. I'm just making them like static variables. But you know, for now, that's going to work. That'll work out just fine. So wait, world.merging blocks. Oh, I just hid the world. Public entity ID emerging blocks get set. Okay. Sounds intense. It's something we've spent a lot of time setting up so that we have the ability to do it. We just haven't followed through. Equals world.create entity. Yeah, I don't like having all of these entity reservations here. It's silly that I need to specify the type of the block of the buffer. I want to change the way that works, but for right now, this is how it's going to work. I'm also not totally pleased about how we have to pass the flag through as well as the type. You should be able to either find the type from the flag or find the flag from the type. But whatever. This is how it works right now. We're just kind of living with it. All right, so the tile system. So what the tile system is going to do, it's going to say variable. It's going to say variable merging blocks. Use a new buffer 3D read write block. Game.world.get component block buffer. Game.world.merging blocks component.flags.block buffer. Okay, so we've got this. So what we need to do is we just need to combine these. So the easiest thing to do would be to just have a function that does this. It's probably going to look a lot like the tool system. Settle preview blocks. The fact that I don't have access to these helper functions is a problem. I think I want to move all of these functions out of this system. I want to move a bunch of these out of the system. And I want to put them on, I guess I could just make them static functions and leave them on the system. Or I could make them part of the editor. So you could say like game.editor.merge blocks, or I could put these on the block itself. So it could be block.like-merge. That'd be pretty cool. That would be a good way to do the static function. Let's look at doing that. It's starting that transition. Where even is the block file? It's not a component. Oh, it's a buffer? No, it's not a buffer. Oh, I gave it its own folder. So it's going to be very crowded here, unfortunately, if I start just throwing these in here. But that's, I think, the direction we're heading. So I would say something like, I don't know if an override should go in front of a static or not. Probably not. So we'll say public, static, void, merge. I like existing. Block existent. Block. Or maybe incumbent. I don't know. I don't like incumbent and incoming because they're like, they're too similar. Like, I think I like existent and incoming. Are they both 8 letters? They're both 8 letters. You know me, I like to have my variables be... I think I misspelled existent. There we go. And then we would basically move this here. I think putting it on the type is a good idea. Okay, why are you upset with me now? Return type is void. No, obviously it's not void, it's block. Oh, we can make these simpler. We don't have to invoke the block. Yeah, this I think is good. I think this is a good thing to do. How's everyone doing today? We're almost there. It's Thursday afternoon. If you're in the United States, there's a holiday weekend coming up. It's a nice day out. I don't know where. I mean, I'm generalizing because it's probably unique to me. I wish I could be outside right now. I think the most I'm going to get outside today is walking to the laundromat after this and then walking back. But, you know, it takes a few trips back and forth, so, you know, it's about as much outside time as I get on a weekday. Shenanigans, you're doing not too bad. Slower day at work, so you're taking advantage of it to work on some of your own stuff. Man, you too. Brianna Journeys also was having a slow day at work. I'm jealous. I've had nothing but insane days at work. It's really sapped my will to work on the game. The only thing that's been keeping me going is just the habit of streaming the work. So I'm very grateful for that. That's really what's kept me going this week. That's kept me, you know, making progress. Because we've made good progress this week. The new cutaway system is awesome. But it's like, it's incredible how often the motivation just isn't there. And habit can save the day. Habit can like push you through and keep you going in a way that motivation, like intrinsic motivation, just doesn't. All right, so we've got block.merge. We've got this static function, or if we pass in 2 blocks. Then I want a version of this function, public static merge, and I want to pass into, what is it return though? Actually, I don't know if I can do it like this, can I? I mean, I could specify a function here, but I'm probably not going to do that at the moment. This is where we have specific, this is where we have a specific function here. We say like, we'll say something, we'll put it way down here. Call it like private void. Call it like merge buffers. Say buffer 3D. It's been heavy rain all day over there. Ooh, I'm not gonna lie, I would enjoy that right now. Your slower days are far and few between. Think you'll make up for it tomorrow? Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure it will. I would love some rain. We're gonna call this merging buffer. Buffer 3D read only. Settled buffer. Or preview buffer. Settled buffer 3D read only. Settled buffer. I'm not sure on writing it here, and rather than making it a static function. So if we look at the, where else? Well, we're not doing the merging anywhere, are we? So we would say, we would structure it similarly to the tool system settle preview blocks down here. It would be like this. So it'll be like for variable I equals 0, I is less than. We're going to say merging buffer because we need to make sure that the write access is safe. We're going to say block.merge. We're going to say, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to say, oh, merging blocks. I said buffer and I wanted to write blocks. Preview blocks. Settled blocks. So merging blocks dot length. So we're going to say merging blocks dot span I equals block dot merge settled blocks dot span I preview blocks. We're going to reverse that. Preview blocks dot span I. Oh, wait, no. Yeah. This is right. This is right. Merge buffer. Never used. No, it's not. I just set it up. It would be cool if there was a more batched way I could do this. But I like block.merge. We could also have a block.erase. And that's the only way we're going to be able to send in a positive thing like the preview blocks and then erase it. It'll just use the merge logic, but backwards. Well, I don't know about that. It might have its own logic. Currently, it has its own logic. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to say merging blocks. We're going to get the merging blocks. Cell blocks. We're going to say merge buffers. I should probably call this merge blocks. Or merge block buffers or something like that. Merge block buffers. We're going to pass in the merging blocks. Pass in the preview blocks. This music is hilarious. All right, so we're going to make a single merged block, buffer. And then we're going to pass this in everywhere. And then we're going to see if that works. It'll be kind of remarkable if it does. All right, let's see. So I drag this out and then I lift up and it's gone. Drag this up and it's gone. Okay, so I wonder where the problem is then. As far as I can tell, we are trying to merge these together. So Maybe the problem is in the tool system. So settle preview blocks. So let's see what we're doing. So we got our preview blocks, got our settled blocks. For each index in the preview blocks, we merge blocks with, I'm going to say block.merge. Reveal blocks in preview blocks. So block.merge. Oh. Settle preview blocks, block.merge. So we're merging it and then we're just not assigning it to anything. Oops. Oopsies. That's embarrassing. Okay, it should work now. So we drag this out. It's a these are all preview blocks right now. And then as soon as I lift the mouse, they'll become settled blocks. Wow. Haha. And look, they still auto tile correctly. Check it out. Oh, that's weird. The cutaway system is playing havoc right now with it, but except for that, yeah, the auto tile system is working correctly even while they're preview blocks. That's pretty cool. Oh, we can't erase. Can only do this. Okay, so here's something. Here's something weird. The flood fill system doesn't work, but I know why. This behaves really weirdly when the flood fill system doesn't work. Why can't I see this? Oh, because of the cutaway system. Yeah, the cutaway system is not happy. That's fine. All right, flood fill. I think the problem right now is we're just pulling the wrong buffer. Do we want to fill? So do we want to use in run here? We get a buffer. Do we want to just... We have to pass in a single buffer. Do we want to flood fill based on just the settled buffer? No, I think we want to do the same kind of merge thing. That's a bit of a problem, though, because that means that... I wonder if I just want the edit system to do that. Just do a merge for me so we can do it once. The other option is to do it every time. Shenanigans, those are the sorts of errors you feel like the language server should be able to catch. If all it's doing is returning a new value, but you're not saving that value, editor tooling should catch that. I agree. I agree with that. Because like the JetBrains is so opinionated about everything else I'm doing. It'll have its little, it'll be like the little warnings the little dotted line warnings will show up, or the things in the margins on the left, like will show up and just be like, hey, you should be doing it this way. Did you know about link? You could be doing this with link. I'm like, I don't want to do it with link. Link me alone. But yeah, you'd think they'd catch something as simple as you're generating this value and you're not assigning it anywhere. Like, link me alone. Yeah, exactly. Still needs work. How's it going? How's your game dev stuff? I haven't managed to catch one of your streams yet. You doing machine learning at the moment for class? Fun. All right, so here's the question. Is there a reason the block merging would be different for different users? I keep telling myself that that would be the case. What I actually want is I want the cutaway system to work differently for the preview blocks versus the settled blocks. Like, I want to cut away preview blocks differently than I would cut away settled blocks. I guess we have them here, so I guess I could ask if a block was present in the preview block or it was present in the settled block. But that's like a more... Maybe that's a more niche problem that we can get to later. Selene's work, you think that will come in handy for modding or creating enemy AI? Yeah, it totally could. That kind of generating stuff like that could be cool. I've definitely heard people make some compelling arguments for at least testing. Like, if you've got this thing and if you've got an RPG and you've got this crazy combination of skills and weapons and items and enemies and whatever, there's definitely some good combinatoric testing you could do with some kind of machine learning solution. Because they can explore the possibility space faster than you ever could if you even had time to explore it at all, you know? So I totally get that for, like, testing. I think procedural generation is hard to do that kind of way. Obviously, there are cases where it's, you know, definitely been done. But I think when you're doing procedural generation, you need, like, a bunch of handmade qualities. You need these, like, predefined qualities of things, and then you can procedurally generate, like, the quantities of everything. Like, you can tweak values and stuff and randomize some things, but there needs to be some core handmade components that are then, like, randomly intermixed or tweaked or whatever. I think otherwise you just get the 10,000 bowls of oatmeal. Which, you know, if that's what you need, go for it. No, I don't know. I think that is something that's going to be really good to understand in this modern world. In this terrifying modern world we live in. Okay, I like having the merge being part of the block here. I'm not sure about where I want the merging to occur. Because we don't need to do it in every system. In fact, if we are merging in the fill system, we don't need to also merge in the tile system. So maybe the merge block buffers thing is... Oh, shouldn't this, instead of merging blocks.span I equals block.merge settled blocks.span I in preview blocks.span I, shouldn't it be like this? Shouldn't it be like block.merge? Merging blocks dot span I. It should be like a nested merge, right? Like you merge the preview blocks with the settle blocks, and then you merge the output of that with the merging blocks. I think that's if you want to respect the current contents of the merging blocks. If you want to just reset, you do an assignment without that. Oh, we got someone we can spam. We got someone we can ban over on Twitch. Got a spam bot. It's my favorite part of the day. Time to load the photon torpedoes. Target the spam bots. All right, fire at will here. Got him. All right. I wonder if we should put a pin in this for now. Let's just suspend the cutaway. Or let's swap to the old cutaway system for now. So I can see. And then what we're going to do, because right now the fill system is going to be very upset with whatever we're doing. I kind of want the edit system to do... I kind of want the edit system to do the merge once after the tool system runs. I want the tool system to run. Actually, does the tool system need to run first? Honestly, the merge could happen first, and then the other systems run. Well, this merge system would actually only need to run if the tool system has run. So you run the tool system, then you run the merge system, and then you run the fill system and the tile system. Sounds like we're making a new system. Honestly, we might not even want to make that a system. We could just put that as part of like... Or, I don't know. We have a main system. I kind of want to run the edit system and then run the subsystems off of the edit system. So, like, I kind of want our task to be something like if game.peak_state... I keep misspelling peak state. Game.peak_state is equal to game.state.edit. If that's the state we're in, I want to run the edit system, and then the edit system can decide what else runs. That's how I want this to be structured, I think. And then the edit system can figure out what it wants to do based on a bunch of other stuff. I think I'm reasonably happy with that. And if the game system wants the edit system to run in parallel, then it can just do like this. It can say, if game.peak_state is edit system and edit system, or we could say like edit task, or we could say something like edit system dot task is completed, then we can run it again. Like, we could run them in parallel to an extent. Yeah, let's do that. So this way I could run the tool system. I guess the view system needs to run first. So we say, if game.input.views.count, viewSystem.run. What does the view system do? Does the view system care about whether we're editing or not? It does not. Game.input.edits.enqueue, edit tool hover, game.input.cursor.toString. What? Why do I output this? Wait, why do I re-input the... Oh, because I consume the edit. Oh, and then we can just flush it if it doesn't actually get consumed. Right. Cool. Should probably put the output at the bottom here, right? We could say if game.peakState is equal to game.state.edit, then we could output this. We only do that in a certain case. I think I like that. So if the view changes, we unqueue an edit command automatically. Because I understand what's happening here. Because the input handler, the input manager would only unqueue this new command if the cursor moves. And the orbit, the camera rotating 90 degrees does not... If the cursor stays the same position relative to that camera move, which it would, because the input handler operates in camera space. Okay. So yeah, so we'll run the view system from the main system. We'll do that first. We'll do that no matter what. Except, I guess we wouldn't run it if we were in the menu state. If we're in the menu state, we would do something else. And then this part, pull this out. Let's go to the edit system. This handles command queues. So we'll say while game.input.edits.count is greater than 0. So we'll set up all the inputs. Then we'll do this. While game.input.edits.count is greater than 0. Wait, what? What did I do? Oh. Yeah, I forget about that. Okay, so we'll do all the enqueue. We'll queue everything up, and then if game.input.tools.count is greater than 0, we'll run all these. Oh, the edit system doesn't know about these. It probably should. We should probably have like a nested thing here. So the edit system, so the fill system, the tool system, and the tile system. We'll pull all these out. The edit system will know about these. So we'll consider these subsystems of the edit system. We might have like a system group construct or something, or ways to like navigate the systems. Let's put these in like something like alphabetical order. So tool system will run, then the fill system, then the tile system. And then maybe the tool system will run the merge system. Because the only system that would need to run the merge would be the tool system. So maybe the tool system just runs the merge when it's done in certain circumstances. So it makes all its changes and then it will run the merge. I think that is okay by me. Because we don't want the merge to happen on a different frame. We want the merge to happen whenever like a structural change has been made to the buffer. So we only need to run it if it's changed. So only if in case of place, in case of select, place, select, hover, palette. Oh god, most of these. Copy, cut. I guess most of these, yeah. So let's just run it. Who cares? We'll just run it. So we'll say so is settle preview blocks very similar to merge blocks? I think it is. Oh, except it has this reveal blocks in function at the bottom. So what we can do is we can settle the blocks when they need to be settled, and then down here we can say private. Well, let's define that on the block too. So we've got merge, and you can define an existent block and an incoming block. What if we also have public static would this be a void? It would probably be a void. And it would be like buffer 3D read write block. And it would be like source it could be like destination buffer 3D read only block. It'd be like source. And we could say, this is where we could say for integer I equals source dot here's something that I really like about, I like function overloading and parameter overloading. I like overloading. C# lets you overload all sorts of stuff. GDScript doesn't let you overload anything, and it makes me insane. I'm like, what do you mean I can't just have a function that's got the same name as this other function and just takes different parameters? What do you mean I can't just overload this? For I equals 0, I is less than source.length? I don't know. I++. Right now I'm making a very dangerous assumption that the destination and the source are the same and match. I need to increase the safety of that because it's very possible that that is not true. But right now I know it's true, so I'm going to ignore it. But eventually it's going to be not true and we're going to need to be super careful. So we'll say destination.span I equals merge source span I destination span I I could shorten existent to like ext and incoming to inc, but let's not. Let's not do that. So destination.span I equals merge source span I, destination span I. So that's right. Diginanigans, for what it's worth, you can essentially recreate function overloading in most languages by creating a function that accepts generics and optional params, and then just calls the appropriate typed function. Yeah, that seems like you could probably do that in GDScript. You're talking to a lazy dev here. You're talking to a lazy dev who would rather complain than solve their problems. We're in the feeling stage, Diginanigans, not the solutions stage. I'm just kidding. I'm being cranky. That's a really good idea. All right, so here's our merge function. And it takes a destination. It takes a source and it writes it. It merges a source with a destination. And it assigns that. We're also going to want one of these, public static void merge buffer 3D read right block destination. We want another one of these where it's like source 1. And then we want another one with like a source 2. And this one's going to work a little differently. Maybe we do just use destination length. No, we use the source length. Here. Here, we need some kind of check to if they're like, if the sources aren't the same length. We're going to say, yeah, if this is not, then we need to throw. Sources must have the same length. Might as well just use source 1.length. Just shenanigans, you hear me? You don't tend to... Oh, you retracted your message. Shame. I'm sure you were about to drop something spicy. You tend to just prefer optional arguments versus overloading. Just a concept you find interesting. Interesting. So that's an interesting approach. I've never done it that way. Generics and optional parameters calls the appropriate typed function. That's pretty smart. We haven't done a lot with generics so far in this code base. The most is the way we've handled components, and I honestly don't love what we came up with. And I will probably tweak it a bit, but I'm trying not to justify spending time on that. I don't love just poor grammar and YouTube Lex and edit button. Oh yeah, for sure. These feel different. So here we have a merge, and we have a destination and a source, and we're merging the source with the destination. And when we're down here, though, is we're like... But this one has a destination, a source 1, and a source 2. And it actually is unclear which source is the existent and which one's the incoming. And our merge tool, actually, our merge system here actually has a concept of like primacy. So like there's like an existent and an incoming tile. Like you get different behavior if you swap one with the other. And I'm a little concerned about that. So that's something we need to like define. I was gonna go get a coffee after this, but I think I really need a tea. I'm feeling like a throat soreness. So yeah, so I need to think about this a little more. Because the point is that we try to merge this incoming block into the existent block, and there's rules about that. Oh no, I'm dead. Yeah, I'm not... I felt fine. But now that I'm talking, my throat does not feel as fine. That's fine. I'll go get a tea. Hopefully they have honey. I need a tea with honey. I could just make that at home. And then there's this little coffee shop near the laundromat that I like to hang out and work at while I'm waiting for the laundry. So, yeah, so our merge tool, when we're on a block-to-block basis, it actually matters which one is the existent one and which one's the incoming one. You can't just swap them arbitrarily. Maybe we could write this in a way where it is ignorant of which one's first. Then we could support more than 2, which would be cool. Oh. My curtain is going crazy over here. I think I'm okay with it. I'm just thinking of it in the context of these merges when we're operating on the buffer level. Because then, like... Here, the destination is included in the merge. We merge the source into the destination. Okay. We treat the source as the existent one, and we try to merge the Oh, that's not even the right... We would want to flip that, huh? We could just say primary, secondary, and tertiary. And if I needed more, I don't feel like I need more than 3 at the moment, because if I needed more than 3, I could just break it up into smaller calls to 1. I just need the communication. I just need to represent the way that order matters. Or I need to make it so that order doesn't matter. But I think order has to matter. At least the way the block merge works, I don't think I can get away from order mattering as far as which block is existent and which block is incoming. I don't think I can mix all their forms together and then actually split that out. Maybe I could. Maybe I could. Shenanigans, if you were going to support more than 2, wouldn't it make sense to just merge them in order? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Well, so here's the distinction I'm making to Shenanigans. So this merge, the destination span right now, is involved in the merge. But this merge, the destination span is not involved in the merge. The destination span is just the result of the two sources. So that's the distinction I need to make, I think. Is that like this merge, this is a merge where one joins the other. And then this merge is that two join together and then get placed in a third without affecting the initial two. It's like the sources aren't affected by it, only the destination is affected. But in this second case, the destination is not used as a data source, but in this first case, it is. Maybe what I should do is I shouldn't have this version, but what I could do is I could pass the same buffer in as the destination versus the source. That shouldn't matter, right? Like, if I wanted to not include the destination, I would just have it be different than the source. And if I did want it included, I could just... Yeah. Okay, maybe I do that. That's kind of stupid, but let's write it out and see if I see how we like it. I'm gonna close the window now. And we were having one of those days where everyone is over on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. How's it going? Don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button. Diginanigans feels like it could be a recursive function and have your sources as a stack and just pop the latest off the stack and merge it with the existing merge. Yeah. It could be done that way. But then there's this case of where, like, I don't want to rewrite the thing. I don't necessarily want the sources to be affected. So, like, what if I wrote it this way? Merge. Buffer 3D. Read write. Block. Call this the destination. Or we just call it output. So we've got our output. We could also say, then we could have buffer 3D read only. We could call it primary input. And buffer 3D read only. Secondary input. The system's not going to be happy because these are identical, so we'll just rewrite it like this. I'm going to say for now, inputs must have the same length as each other as well as the output. So we're going to say output.length is not equal to primary input.length or output.length is not equal to secondary input.length. I think for now, this feels like the easiest way to do it. I think something recursive, like you're saying, would probably be the cleanest. But right now, at least this way, you could pass in the same buffer as the output for the output and one of the inputs. Or you could not. And I feel like because we're operating on spans, we need to be a little careful because spans are everything we're doing to a span is in place. So that's what makes me concerned about your recursive function with the stack diginanigans is if we want to pull from an input without necessarily putting it back, without necessarily changing that input, we need to be careful not to accidentally do that. This song is insane, by the way. I feel like I'm in a mid-20th century like movie or something. Okay, so we'll just say output span I is merge. We'll use the primary input as the existent and the secondary input as the incoming. So that way we at least have this concept of primacy. And then we could actually just get rid of this to case. And only have this case. In which case our whole argument about, overloads doesn't matter anymore, but we could call this merge in place. Actually, if we call it merge in place, I'd actually be okay having the version of it where we just have input output. So this would be output, and then we would have input. Reminds you of various Warner Brothers cartoons from the 90s? Yeah. Yeah, I felt like I was in the credit sequence from, like, the golden age of cinema or something. So we're going to say output.span I equals merge input with output. We'll try to merge the input into the output. Okay, I'm okay with this. I don't even know if we have a use case for this version of the merge, but I guess we do. I guess it's the use case of merge in place is the settle preview blocks function. So the settle preview blocks function will be, instead of this, it'll just say merge in place. Oh, it'll say block dot merge in place. And we'll pass in the output is the settled blocks and the input is the preview blocks. I guess merge in place is confusing because it's not like we're merging these two together and both of them will end up looking the same. I need a better word for this, but I'm going to stick with this for now. And so the edit system here we could say, so we could run the tool system, then we could say, actually, I guess we could do it in the tool system. So then the tool system down here, we can say, we say block.merge in place. We just need to define the variable merging. We say variable merging blocks equals a new buffer 3D read write block. Game.world.getComponent block Game.world.merging blocks. Component.flags.block buffer. Get component block buffer. I'd say merge in place merging blocks. Yeah, I don't know if I like the merge in place name. I could say like merge into, and then the first parameter will be like obviously the thing we're merging into, but also maybe that's just me. Maybe that's not actually obvious. So we're going to say settled blocks, preview blocks. Name all overloads to merge. Yeah, I think the fact that the output is getting merged into here is very weird. But it's not here. I need to separate these somehow in definition to make it clear. Maybe it's like merge inputs versus merge with output. Or I don't know. Merge inputs to output versus merge input with output. I don't know. I want to make that distinction. So this would be like merge input with output. This could be like merge inputs to output. I feel like that's not clear either. Merge input with output. Merge inputs to output. I don't know, whatever. I understand the implementation details of this, but I would like to have a better name somewhere down the line. Doesn't need to be now. What we need to do, because I'm running out of time, is we need to see if we fixed the thing that we broke. So we're going to do the merge once here. This is our idea. We're doing the merge once at the bottom of the tool system. And then so we don't need to do it again in the tile system. So here we actually just need to get the merging blocks. Skip this. And in fact, we don't need the write version. We can just use the read-only version. Merge and merge with output, I guess. Merge without put. Merge with output versus merge then output. I don't know. Naming stuff, huh? It's like the hardest. It's one of the canonical 3 most difficult problems in programming. Right? Naming things. Cache invalidation and off by 1 errors. What do they say? Oh no, I messed up the joke. I ruined the joke. We gotta delete the VOD. The joke is it's the 2 most difficult problems in programming, right? Naming things, cache invalidation, and off by 1 errors. That's the joke. I blew it. What am I checking now? I'm checking to make sure the fill system works. This is going to be a little tricky. So what I need to do is I need to like... Okay, so the fill system is not running, which is already not a good sign. The auto tiler is working correctly. The preview blocks are being auto-tiled correctly with the settled blocks. But the fill system is not running correctly. Fill system. We're probably just pulling the wrong buffer is probably what we're doing. Yeah, we are. Bike shedding paralysis. Yeah. It's tough out here. All right, so now in theory, so what we're going to do is we're going to make a compartment. So here we go. Here's our compartment. Then we're going to break the compartment. So there's a hole. So the system knows that this isn't sealed. And then what we're going to do is now we have this block on the preview layer, and we're going to plug the hole. Aha. So these are 2 different buffers that are being merged together just for the auto tiling and the fill system purposes. So that's easy. So that's just working. Okay, we've got separate layers. That's great. That was a blocker for a number of things we wanted to do. And now we've got them. So, huzzah. Huzzah for us. This is the old cutaway system. People probably are noticing. I'm just doing this right now because the other one was probably broken while we worked on that. It's actually just straight up broken for a number of cases that I want to handle. That's probably what we'll do tomorrow, is now that we've got this here, that probably means I need to actually decide. I need to look into like trees, because we need a way of like, okay, you're in this compartment. What are all the compartments visually in front of your compartment? That sounds suspiciously like a tree structure. So we'll probably make something for that purpose. What we also need to do is we need to decide how we're going to store the compartment data for a wall. Making a note here. Huge success. Thanks. Thanks to Shenanigans. We fixed the things we broke. And you know what? When programming, sometimes that's all you can hope for. And that is tremendously successful. It feels successful. Yeah. So the other thing we need to do is it's misbehaving with walls. Because, like, let's say you have a room. You have 2 rooms, and the rooms are separated by a wall. Right now, that wall is not considered part of either compartment, because it's not. But I want to actually consider it as belonging to both compartments. The wall that separates 2 compartments, if it's at least just one thick, one tile thin. If it's a double tile, whatever, we can do it. That's a little different. Big Jump getting the real-time feedback that a room is sealed. I'll tell you right now how we got that performance to Shenanigans. We're just sending a smaller volume for the fill system to fill. Instead of sending them the max volume each time, we're just sending them the used bounds. So we're checking what the boundaries are of the whole used system, of the whole system that's being actually used and built in, and that's all we're sending. But it still falls apart really quickly. I'm just being very careful to only test at a scale that resolves itself in real time. So we do need to do something to at least buy us a few frames, because it's gonna be touchy. Karama 23, welcome in. Big question mark. That's like story of my life. Hey, gains are gains. You know, exactly. And we were talking earlier, it's kind of like going to the gym. A lot of days you don't feel like going to the gym, and you just do it out of habit, and you still got those gains. Motivation does not affect gains as long as the habit kicks in. And that's kind of where we're at right now in our programming. We're kind of letting habit carry us even in these periods of low motivation. And you know what helps motivation? Seeing stuff like the new cutaway system in place and working. Thank you for the follow, Kurama. How's it going? We're probably wrapping it up now. Unfortunately. This is kind of towards the end of my stream. Sometimes I'll go right up until 2 o'clock. Right now, I need to go get some laundry going. So we're going to wrap it up probably now. But hopefully longer stream tomorrow. Maybe not. I also have to do laundry tomorrow. But we'll be back tomorrow either way for 2 to 3 hours, you know, as we do. And then we'll also be streaming Saturday. So this is going to be the first week we actually do 5 streams in a row in a long time. This is one of the first weeks where I actually don't have a bunch of events and stuff scheduled. So that's nice. Yeah. To shenanigans, it can be easier to hit burnout when working on systems that have no visual feedback for a long time. Oh, yeah. I tell people that all the time. It's so hard. You need to do something that's visible, or you will lose motivation so quickly. Even if it is something visual and you just broke it, and so now it's in a broken state, and you're like, you know, I just got to do the refactor and fix it. And the longer it's broken, the longer that cycle is that you can't see what the results of what you're doing. Yeah, the motivation tanks so hard. Kurama, am I a developer? In what language? We're working in Godot. We're using a mix of GD script and C#. Our simulation layer is in C#. The rendering and UI stuff is all in Godot, and that's in GD script. So we're kind of doing a mixed domain kind of thing. I would not recommend this. It is currently not great. We have to do a bunch of stupid stuff, like we're passing arrays of strings from the unmanaged Godot side to the managed C# side, because Godot GD script doesn't know about my C# enums. Oh, this is a silly song that we've got playing here. Yeah, but I'm sorry I got to split, Kurama. I appreciate you coming in here. I appreciate the follow. We'll be back at a similar time tomorrow. We're gonna be working on this. We work on Tuesday through Saturday every week. Oh yeah, I want to say thank you all so much for watching, especially all the people over on YouTube. YouTube really turned out today. Thank you so much. Yeah, appreciate y'all watching, hanging out here with me, co-working or just chilling. Yeah, I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Bye.